Hello and welcome to Supreme Commander Forge Alliance Forever. This is part 2 of the quarterfinal series between Turbo2 and Blinchik. Blinchik over here in the purple with Seraphim Cybran for Turbo in that light orange color that Zoc used to use, I believe. So let's see. Maybe he's looking for some of that Zoc magic. Looks like Turbo somehow finished his factory a little quicker than Blinchik. So anyway, this is part 2. So part 1 we saw a few maps, and at the end of part 1 we had a score of 1-1 between these two guys in this best of 5 series. So a very important map here. Who will take a map point? Who will take map point out of this series? We'll see. First to 3, of course. And the map is a really tricky one. We got the ditch going on. I'll just zoom out here on the left. 435,250 mass in reclaim. Outrageous sums of mass to be taken. So both players send their first engineer to the closest of these rocks. So you can see here, factory attack move from Blinchik down to here. Turbo's guy is over here. He's moving quite far. I think he's already taken some of the reclaims, so he's moving further on. So it's not to overflow. So the aim of the game, when you have this much reclaim available to you... Oh, it looks like he's... Okay. I'm sure Blinchik will be fine here. But yeah, the aim of the game is, you can see... Well, Turbo's actually built mexes quite quickly, which is unusual, honestly. What Blin is doing is more normal, which is... This guy does all the reclaiming. This is your mass generation for the opening. Every other engineer that comes out of the factory is building power, and that's a very quick air factory as well. And look actually how Blin is placing his ACU. You can see he's placing his ACU, and then everything around him is going to be P-gens, and he's standing in the lone square in the middle that's empty. I'm surprised. Oh, slightly idle with the engineers. I'm really surprised at how fast that transport is. That is an unusual way to play this map, I will say. You can see Turbo... I'm not sure about Turbo start either, to be honest. I mean, he is ahead on power significantly, which is a very big deal when you have essentially infinite reclaim available. Power is going to be the limiting factor, as a single T1 engineer generates 25 mass per second while reclaiming. So, or sorry, 50 mass per second while reclaiming these rocks. So mass generation, not an issue. Blin now, the other downside to his transport is all of his build power is you know, in the air, not building. But this is an unusual opening. I would expect a second land factory very quickly, even a third land factory really quickly on such a map, to emphasize once again the build power. But Blin has plans for this really fast transport. He's going to drop on the hydrocarbon. That's a pretty nice move. Get the hydro. Maybe he should have dropped closer to the reclaim here, but he'll probably build a factory straight after that. He's finished a factory here, which will be... I mean, this is going to fund so much stuff here with this reclaim here. It's going to fund his opening and his expansions. And Blin is going to take this expansion. I was thinking maybe he could even drop here. This is very safe, I would say. This would be baller though. Or maybe here where you're less likely to be spotted. Steal reclaim on your opponent's side. That'd be a nice move. This is a bit it's good, but I don't know, I want more ambition. He had 7 engineers on board, so he had plenty. He could have dropped 2 here, 3 here. That would have been a very nice move in my opinion, but this is good too. Not everything I wished for. He's making... That's a power storage. I wonder, that was probably an accident, I guess. You're probably not going to be overflowing any power given the situation, well, given the amount of mass on this map. You can see 4,000 reclaim already. Blin has the same 4,000 reclaim by minute 5. Expect, you know, I don't know how much you'll have by minute 10, maybe 20k, maybe 30k, who knows. Just huge amounts of mass demanding huge amounts of scaling up your build power and your economic production. So strange that there's no hydrocarbon yet. Oh my god, I hate Seraphim transports, and that's exactly why. You see how many seconds he lost there because of the bumping engineers, and they bumped because of the way the Seraphim transport loads, and actually his transport has been targeted by numerous interceptors. He needs to drop immediately. He can't dodge around. Well, at least it dropped quickly, that's something. Didn't load quickly, but it did drop quickly. Unfortunately, there's no reclaim anywhere near this area, so this is really sad for these engineers. They're gonna have to walk to the expansion. Bombers on standby to deny this expansion, denying any drops to here. Many bombers from Turbo as well, though. So Blin, he's certainly losing out here. But this is a good position. I'm sad that he wasn't here, as we said before, but I guess I won't harp on it too much. But this is a really good position that Turbo is very unlikely to get on the far side. So the initial, you know, guaranteed expansions are looking better for Turbo for sure, but Blin has maybe a slightly extra map control here, thanks to this pretty solid base already. A lot of factories there. 3 factories in this expansion. He's concentrating on reclaim, delaying the mexes a lot. He's already dropped up to the top. It should be noted that there is a lot of reclaim on the plateau that you do not want to miss out on. But so far, Turbo is really doing far better in terms of the power scaling. You can see 1.3k power to just about 1k now for Blin. This is a massive problem for Blin. All the mass in the world is useless without the power to turn it into useful buildings and units. So a power lead is usually a better indicator than a mass lead. Rather, you can't even get a mass lead because you just won't be able to spend that mass anyway. The anti-air is doing well. The bombers actually killed a lot of engineers here, which is quite annoying, but ultimately they can be replaced pretty easily. There's already 3, 6, 8 factories here. But the bombers slowing down Blin somewhat and allowing Turbo time to get his own base up in this expansion, which is very important. Can't afford to lose this expansion. This has to be the player in this spot has to own this expansion, really. Otherwise, you become very vulnerable, and it's not difficult to hold on to this. This is a relatively easily secureable location. Now, speaking of secureable locations, this looks scary. Now, there were a lot of engineers here. I don't know what happened to them. They clearly built a factory and a mechs, but then after that, oh, maybe he picked them up. Actually, these may be the same engineers. But this expansion looks, this is very worryingly underdeveloped. There's a lot of air here. Maybe some bombers are needed to defend the location, as there's 4 factories building Mantis, or rather, well, 3, one of them building engineers for reclaim. Again, a lot of reclaim in the top corners as well. These locations are quite important. You got to look at basically where you can gain an advantage in reclaim. So you should be getting, you know, this should be your Blins, this should be Blins, this should be Blins. But where you can make the difference is stealing reclaim on your opponent's side or in the corners where they're going to be contested. So down here, and also the reclaim in the middle. There's not insignificant reclaim on the bottom, on the lower part of the middle of the map. I'm looking at the power income right now, and it's the difference is quite scary. Turbo has 2 T3 P-gens, sorry, 2 T2 P-gens, making a third. He may have more actually. Yeah, he does. He has another one over here at his T2 land HQ. That may have even been his first one. And yeah, this looks good. I think probably every T1 mechs for Turbo could be upgrading at this point, given his power situation. He probably can afford a lot of upgrades. He's making T3 air 70% of the way done. T3 air rush is normal. I mean, really on this map, there's no such thing as a... You don't say, oh, should I T3 air rush? Should I T3 land rush? You rush everything. You rush T2. You rush some kind of T2 very quickly. Whether it's land, air, or even on the commander. Rushing T2 on the commander is also good for getting those T2 pigeons out. And then T3, you have to get T3 air. And T3 land is hugely effective as well on this map, so there's not really a question of whether you rush these things. It's more of a question, well, can you beat your opponent to it, and can you in the meantime also generate a lot of economy and not lose a major expansion. This is insanely bad for Blin that he has lost this expansion, that he can't hold on to it. He's being denied the reclaim around here. He needs to invest in some more factories. He's making some engineers and things. He needs to close this gap. And now actually, as the pressure is coming down from the corner, there's the Wagners are arriving from the side, and I don't see, there's no T2 land here for Blin. That's very worrying. There's somehow Mantis in his base. He's started T3 air. At least now he does have a shield protecting his T2 P-gens, which is going to be important because he's certainly going to be behind on air. T3 P-gen already begun for Turbo, who has a lot of power overflow. He needs to get more build power into his base. Additional factories required. Maybe some T2 engineers out of this T2 air factory. We should also see T3 mexes at this point, honestly. If I'm playing the game, I'm making T3 mechs right now. I have the power to spend. I have a lot of mass to spend. And T3 land as well should be coming. Very few factories, honestly. You often see 10, 12 factories in nearly every expansion, at least. Turbo may be a bit light on factories, that might hurt him in time, but the naval production is quite good. Wow. Yeah, this base not looking healthy. And this one, even less so. Even less so. Turbo, I mean, I compared the difficulty of this map to Painted Desert in part 1, and if you've seen that, you know how strong Turbo was in comparison to Blin there. He was easily winning both of those games, really. Well, easily, I mean, wasn't a complete crush, but it was certainly comfortable for Turbo, and he's turning it on again. This map looks to simply be outscaling his opponent with all this reclaim. I think the faster T2 land, I mean, this T2 land seems very slow. I don't see any T2 units apart from engineers from Blinchik, when really already we've seen many T2 amphibious units from Turbo, and those really pack a much bigger punch than the T1 units, the Mantis, the Thams, even the Zuis. Just require more time to get them out, more infrastructure. Turbo with a lot of air. Oh, he's going to get so many free kills on these bombers. Except that he's actually targeted some intis, so the bombers... Oh yeah, he's going to kill a lot of bombers here. and win air control with the Inties. I mean, the ASF are coming. That Strat, I don't know where the Strat is going. I guess it's headed for the T2 mechs down here. But oh my god, if Blinchik realizes, oh, he could have even killed that Strat. Certainly done a lot of damage to it. But as it is now, I think he's going to lose all of his Inties probably to the ASF and the enemy Inties. And he'll lose many T2 mechs as well. This expansion is going down. There's no way it survives. There's only some T1 factories at this point. The Thams are not going to have a fun time here against this packed group of Wagners. They're certainly overkilling some Thams, unfortunately, but still pretty much irrelevant. He's crushing and he can push forward. There's virtually nothing to stop him. 2 PDs, a third one under construction. And what else? Some Thams. Once again, T1 production. I mean, at 15 minutes, I would have expected T3 land already. Definitely should have T3 land at this point. Both players. But, I mean, I think this is in a very precarious position. It's actually on 1100 HP. I would not want to upgrade this factory to T3, to be honest, because it's not going to survive. I mean, a single Corsair could come in and kill it at this point. The Strat has definitely been killed. There it is in the ground here. But only 2 mechs were killed. So, not the greatest Strat ever, actually. Not a very good investment. Or maybe just an investment not used very well. I see a real lack of T3 economy for Blinchik, specifically mass economy. Well, really, I see that for both of them. they both just have T2 mechs. Come on, guys. This is the ditch. Let's see how much reclaim it says is left. So, wow, we said, how much was there? 470,000, was it? Something like that. If that's correct, if I remember correctly, you can check at you can zoom back to the start of the video and see, but I mean, that must be, if that's correct, we've used 200,000 reclaim from the map already, and there's even more than that left, so get those mechs upgrades going, guys. But right now it looks extremely good for Turbo. He's now claiming his expansion for his own. There's still, all the reclaim is still here. I don't think Blin has taken a lick of this reclaim, and so this is huge. He's gonna lose access to that. Some flax coming out. Blin has at least seemed to. Oh, is he killing the HQ? No, he's not. Actually, the HQ has been repaired to full HP. The Strat takes a spin over the flak, takes about 700 damage, but does take out the PDs. And maybe that looks like preparation for a... Oh, he took out the TMD, in fact. And now he's firing TMLs. I like it. I like it. That's really nice. Now with that bomb, he drops the HQ low enough to be killed by the TML. Beautiful move. Very nice stuff. And the wreck will even be destroyed as well. I like it. Nice stuff from Turbo. Now the real Chad move is to return this Strat to base and repair it in an air staging. The Navy looks completely dominant for Turbo. No production in this area, which is the most common area to have the majority of your production. We can see that's where Turbo has set up most of his, including his T2 naval HQ. Some supplementary factories in here as well, and he has far more production. The Strat takes a drop onto, well, it looks like it was still attacking the same position, so didn't really do much after that. A bit wasted, but still did its job. It had a job to do, get rid of that, or enable the TML to get rid of the land HQ. And now we're going to have to see a T2 land HQ come up, and also a T3 land. T3 land is really necessary. Blin is losing his map control so heavily, and he's going to lose this position as well. There's no doubt. We have a limited number of Ilshavo that will not be replenished soon because of the death of that HQ. What is Blinchik's plan here? He is making T3 mexes finally, a lot of them at once. Oh my god. There's a Wagner. There's... Okay, let's see. It looks like Blin has more T3 mexes, right? Certainly does, right? He's got... Well, okay, he's got 3. He has lost multiple T2 mexes here, though. That's quite painful. Gunships coming in to kill the raiding Wagners, which have taken a long circuit through here. Blin has also been denied the middle reclaim. And actually, he's making an HQ here. He's defended it with torpedo bombers. I don't see how he could possibly defend this. He's lost 7 factories worth of production here. And there's many freaks coming. Plus multiple T2 ships. So this position looks completely doomed as well. I don't see... He can perhaps hold on against this because of the choke point here. But once the Navy arrives, this production is doomed. You can see all the ships pouring through here. A lot of frigates gonna overrun this completely. And then when there's T2 Navy, he can kill this position with T2 Navy with ease without even looking. And we do have T3 land. A single unupgraded hive here for some reason. Interesting. Also, we have an SMD constructed already for Turbo. He's not interested in getting nuked. He's afraid of a fast nuke or a hidden nuke, perhaps. Believes that that's... Well, when you have such an advantage in terms of the map position... Oh, he's pushing in, actually. And this is a terrible formation for him. And a serious... If he had Medusa, a lot more Medusa, this would have been great. He should just attack with the Medusa, you know, attack, move in, do a lot of damage. But that was a really bad attack. But ultimately, it shouldn't matter. I think he should be able to clean everything up here. There's so many frigates with nothing to stop them except a few torpedo launchers and a few torpedo bombers. Even the bombers will eventually die to the anti-air. Does need to get in on top of the torpedo launchers, so he stops taking... He's taking a decent amount of damage. But ultimately, it's only a delay, I think. Noth is flying in, taking out some reclaim in the middle, or not reclaim, but mass extractors, trying to kill the anti-air, but dying in the meantime. Here's why you don't build anti-air right next to each other. They will both die to one bomb if targeted. If not targeted, they're pretty effective, actually. Actually, all the Natas may die. We shall see. I think they're going to kill each other here, right? Yep. Nice. Well, that's a pretty good result for Turbo, I would say. Very good result. Turbo has been building a lot of air production in the meantime. Just increasing production on all fronts. I'd like to see some T3 land production on this side as well. Maybe some T3 drops. We have a transport on standby, but 5 bricks stationary next to it. That's a lot of air for Blinchik as well, though, I gotta say. Let's see his air production. Oh yeah, okay, he's got a nice grid here actually. The mass stall is coming in hard now. He has well, he's up against 54 inties, 55 ASF, sorry. So Blin is behind, and he's gonna stay behind when he's stalling. 400 mass per tick. Turbo, meanwhile, look at that. Wow, he's sitting at basically 0 mass, not stalling. Quite impressive. And he's only got 5. Ooh. Only got 5 T3 mexes. Here comes an air fight. A very important one. There's a cruiser in the area. It's out of range right now. The flaks are doing good. The flaks need to come back in and keep doing damage. I think Blin may... oh, it's hard to tell with the inties here. The inties are interfering. Blin wins it. Okay, Blin wins it with quite a lot left over. I would be... Oh yeah, he needs to get these back and start repairing them. Don't fly over the cruiser though. Ouch. There goes an ASF. There goes another one. Okay, lost a few ASF on the way out, but not too many. Needs to get these back, repair them on air staging because they're all going to be severely damaged, or well, that was a big win, but will it enable him to gain any of the map back, to do any damage to the economy of Turbo? I'm not sure. Here comes this fight that has been coming for a long time. The pathfinding is terrible here. Turbo needed to do a bit of micro to get them down to this you know, better part of the map here, pathfinding wise, but he is still gonna win this. Ilshi's stand as strong as they can, but I mean, look how long this Ilshi's surviving. They're so powerful, but ultimately they will go down. Now we see the Medusa shells landing, the Wagners are in there, and this base is doomed. Phobos coming out of the factory are not going to save anything. Oh my god. Oh, no. Please, no. This... Did he really killed a T2 P-Gen? He's not going to kill a T3 Max, surely. I mean, all this time... I think Blin should not even really repair this. He's wasting so much mass trying to repair it, actually. Wasting a lot of mass. He loses the storage. I can't look away. Oh, that's... Oh my god, 6,000 mass killed on the Salem. Send some Zooies. Just a couple of Zooies after it. Come on. That strategic missile defense has been constructed, but there is a nuke over halfway loaded already, thanks to the help of these hives. They're not upgraded, but still providing plenty of build power. I see a brick drop has landed, but I don't know how long ago that was. The transport seems to be long gone. Oh, there it is, actually. Looks like it's just returning, in fact. So the bricks haven't been there too long, but they have been forgotten. And finally... the Salem goes down to some Nothas. I hear an Otham defending the bottom side. That's about the latest T3 land I've ever seen on the ditch. T3 mechs, full T3 mechs here in these 4 spots. Now, I'm wondering whether Turbo will go for the main base, because it depends on... He has spotted the SMD. It depends on whether he knows when it was built. One thing you can do is, if you see an SMD, you can set a marker, this thing here, and write the time on the marker so you can see when it was constructed, if you find it, you know, just as it was constructed. And then when you have your nuke finished, you can say, well, it's been built for 5 minutes, so it's almost certainly loaded, so I'm not going to launch there. This is a very solid target here. We got T3 Support Factory, T3 Land HQ, T3 Mexes, SAM. A lot of stuff here that could be nuked. This is a fine nuke target. This position also, oh my god, the bricks came in and sniped those mass extractors. I wonder if they're upgrading, because they may have been, because the 2 mexes here are actually already T3. The Wagners are coming, and there's basically no defenders. There's T1 units. This is entirely T2 army, basically. Almost no T2 units here. 15 Mantis, who cares? 40 Wagners. We got MMLs. This cannot be lost, and it is doomed. MML's going ham on the T3 Mexas. You don't see that every day. Damn, they're all going to vet immediately. The bricks move on to other points of attack as they get knotted. Both of them with 2k plus mass killed. Here comes a lot of ASF from Turbo. I'm sure he must have caught up and even passed out Turbo or Blinchik at this point. 63 ASF now. 43 for Blin, and he's engaging poorly. And he's gonna lose air in a more brutal fashion than he won it earlier. Far more brutal fashion. There's no coming back from this. And that's, what, 13,000 mass of torpedo bombers that's going down with it. Just feeding huge amounts of vet as well to the enemy SF. As though they needed it. There go the bricks. The Wagners march on. This base will disappear. The base that he struggled so hard to actually finish will be killed. The nuke is launched directly at the main base. Turbo asserting dominance. The nuke defense is not going to finish. It's so close to being finished there. And it's destroyed before it can complete. The ACU leaves the base in resignation of the fact that that nuke was going to land. And what is left for Blin to do? He does still have power. That's something. He has this power. This is a pretty nice grid he has. His air factories are idle now because he has lost the air HQ, which was in the central base. The Asswasher seems like a very long shot, considering he has just lost air completely. He's actually heading for this area. Turbo's heading here to block air production, I'm pretty sure. I mean, I think so. But now he's actually found the Asswasher. Maybe he, well, okay, maybe he had seen the Asswasher before then. Maybe he had. But I'm not sure. He might have just been trying to cover the air production. Either way, he destroyed the Asswasher in seconds there before it got to do anything. It wasn't constructed far enough to actually leave reclaim, which is pretty annoying for Blin. And Blin seems to be carrying on for not much reason at all, other than that's just what he does. He does like to play till the end for whatever reason, more often than others. So that was also, we missed the quite nice brick invasion here. Well, I didn't say it, but it was on the screen. I noticed it. All these bricks were dropped in at once right after the air victory, and now they provide the killing blow versus Blin's purple Seraphim commander. Turbo goes 2-1 up in the series, takes a very valuable lead moving into map 4. This is it for part 2. We will conclude in part 3. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Check out the links at the end of this video if you enjoy the content, and yeah, thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.